Hey drivers, this is the video you've been waiting for. Today we're covering your first lesson on how to drift. Real quick before we start, if you haven't already set up your wheel using my perfect wheel settings guide, go watch that video first. It will make a massive difference. Also, if you don't know how to drive manual yet, I highly recommend watching my how to drive manual video before continuing. With this, you'll have way more control once you understand your gear management. Alright, now that your wheel is set up correctly, let's talk about going sideways. To start drifting properly, we need the right car. I recommend heading to the auto show and picking up the 1998 Nissan Silvia. This is one of the best beginning drift cars because it has smooth power delivery, predictable handling, and enough torque to break traction without trying to kill you every 5 seconds. Here are the parts I want you to install. All of these are race parts. So the intake, fuel system, ignition, exhaust, cams, valves, displacement, pistons, intercooler, oil cooling, and flywheel. And no turbo for this build. We want smooth controllable power, not sudden boost spikes. Now for platform and handling, I want you to install the race brakes, the drift spring and dampeners, and the race rear anti-roll bar. And that's it for that. Now onto the drivetrain, the drift transmission, the race driveline, and the drift differential. And then for the tires and rims, I just want you to install the drift tire compound. That's all we need there. I also installed the Rocket Bunny wide body kit. It adds a little more stability to the car and honestly just makes the Silvia look incredible. Now let's move on to tuning. Go into cars, upgrading and tuning, and then custom tuning. In there we're going to adjust the tire pressure first. We want this to be the front 31 psi and the rear 30 psi. This helps the tires maintain predictable grip while still allowing the rear tires to break traction smoothly. Slightly lower rear pressure helps create a larger contact patch, making the drift easier to control. Now for camber, we want the front to be negative 5.0 degrees and the rear negative 1.5 degrees. The aggressive front camber helps maintain grip while countersteering during drift. The rear camber is much lower because we still want strong traction and forward drive while sliding. Let's set front and rear both to 0. For beginners, 0 toe keeps the car stable and predictable. Too much toe can make the car twitchy and harder to learn with. Now on to caster. Let's set the front to 7 degrees. Higher caster helps the wheel naturally self-steer and return during countersteer. This is extremely important in drifting because the car wants to countersteer itself while sliding. Okay, so the rear anti-roll bar, set that to 29.2. This helps stiffen the rear of the car slightly, making it easy to rotate and maintain angle. Now for springs, set the ride height of the front to 4.6 and the rear to 5.2. We keep the rear slightly higher to help weight transfer toward the front during transitions and make the car rotate more naturally. And then the differential. Acceleration, let's set that to 85% and deceleration to 0%. The high acceleration lock keeps both rear wheels spinning together while on throttle, which is critical for maintaining a drift. The 0% deceleration setting allows the car to rotate freely when you lift off the throttle. With this setup, the car should feel smooth, stable, and easy to slide. Okay, that's it for the car setup, so now let's head out for your first lesson. We'll be practicing at the shipyard in the lower right section of the Forza Horizon 6 map. There's plenty of open space here for beginners, and later on we'll move into mountain roads and actual drift tracks. So first, let's explain what drifting actually is. Drifting is balancing a car right at the edge between grip and spinning out. To drift, we first need to break traction. There are several ways to do this. One, you have the handbrake drift, perfect for lower speeds. Pulling the handbrake locks the rear wheels temporarily, instantly breaking rear traction. This is perfect for lower speeds. Once the car starts sliding, release the handbrake and apply throttle to maintain the drift. Then we have the clutch kick, used mostly in manual rear-wheel drive cars. Quickly kick the clutch while staying on throttle to shock the rear tires loose. And then there's power over. This is the easiest method for beginners and what we'll focus on today. Turn into the corner and aggressively apply throttle until the rear tires lose grip. This is possible because of the amount of power our car has. And then there's weight shift. With this, brake or suddenly lift off the throttle before turning. This shifts weight forward and lightens the rear tires, helping the car rotate. And then we have the Scandinavian Flick, a rally car technique where you briefly steer away from the corner before quickly turning in. Okay, so now that you know how to break traction, go ahead and experiment with each of these for 10 to 15 minutes and find out what methods you prefer. Quick tip, for the handbrake method, it's best to have an actual handbrake versus mapping it to a button. This way you can modulate how much brake pressure is applied. So next up, we are going to turn a basic donut that requires no skill to do and turn it into an actual controlled drift in a circle. So let's use the power over technique to start this. Turn your wheel one direction, right or left, and then mash the pedal to the floor. Okay, you should be going in a tight donut. This is not a drift as of yet. Now let's turn this donut into a wide circle drift. This is where small inputs with the wheel matter. Not going full lock to lock, but just modulating in between. While in the donut, there are a few things you must do to widen the circle. First, you need to countersteer. Believe it or not, to countersteer, you must loosen your grip on the wheel to let it spin freely. Yup, you heard that right. The car will naturally countersteer while you're in the slide if you loosen your grip on the steering wheel. However, you will want to catch the countersteer at the desired angle. While doing so, you can increase this effect of coming out of the donut by letting off the throttle. You have officially initiated the drift. But here's the critical part. You must maintain the slide to continue the drift. Once you catch the countersteer, if you feel yourself coming out of the drift, you need to get the car's angle to increase back into the turn. Slightly manage the throttle by applying more throttle and you're steering back toward the center of the circle to increase angle. The focus is balancing between these two actions, increasing angle into a drift by applying throttle and steering toward the center point of the drift and pulling it back by countersteering and letting off throttle a bit. Also, the secret sauce is a heavy focus on throttle management more than steering input. You can control your angle with throttle input more than steering input itself. Once your car is going in the right direction, you can keep it there, mostly balancing the throttle pressure and very small counter steer inputs. Keep the car in the balanced state and maintain a wide circle. When you're ready to stop drifting, slowly let off the throttle, unravel the steering input a bit, and get the car going straight. Keep practicing this until you can complete 3 loops on the drift circle consecutively. Once you've managed that, you've passed your first drift lesson. Okay, so that's it. You're now well on your way at this point. In the next lesson, I will teach you how to develop more control with your drift, to adjust angle and possibly an intro into connecting drifts. If you found these settings and this tutorial helpful, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're getting on and what part of drifting you would like me to cover next. If this video helped you take your first steps to drifting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more lessons, setups, tuning guides, and driving tips. And if you're looking to improve your overall driving skills even further, check out my book, The Standard of Driving. It covers the fundamentals of control, consistency, and speed. These are skills that every driver should master before pushing the limits. You can find this at my website, drivestandardbrand.com. Thanks again for watching, and as always, drive safe and safe for the track.